Man, they were giving out these cool glasses at the screening, these sunglass looking things. I was like, oh, perfect for a thumbnail. I forgot them at the movie theater. They're in the cup holder. Right now, well, they're probably in the trash now. Anyhow, now I gotta have some generic ass thumbnail that looks like me doing this or something like that. But I can't win them all. All right, let's review the sequel to the greatest movie of 2016. So The Suicide Squad is the sequel to Suicide Squad. This time, this is written and directed by James Gunn. In this movie, it's kind of treated like a mulligan for Suicide Squad, but it still treats the universe like, well, it still happened, which works out for this movie because the original Suicide Squad movie did the heavy lifting in terms of what the Suicide Squad is, why Amanda Waller has it, how they get these people to go on these missions. So all this movie has to do is be like, yeah, we'll take time off your sentence. All right, sweet, go forth. For king and country. Still recognizes that the first movie happened in the sense that it doesn't waste my time. I appreciate that. So now you have these new characters that make up the Suicide Squad for the most part, and they have a new mission to go to and complete, which is code for there's no Jared Leto's Joker in this movie, there's no Skybeam at the end of the movie, and there's none of this shit. So, you know, if you're gonna start off on a new foot, but there's a lot more that this movie did that worked better than how it was executed in the first movie. First of all, the characters had better contrast between them and better synergy. They worked off of each other better. You have John Cena's character and Idris Elba's character. They work well off of each other. They're both trying to alpha dog each other as they would do. They're shooting people, but they're just mean mugging each other. It's like Legolas and Gimli, but much less friendly. Like Sylvester Stallone as the shark character, he has no friends. Then you have this lady I call the Rat Queen. Look, we're getting into the deep sweaty. We're getting into the deep cuts of these obscure comic book characters. I don't know them as well. Like in first Suicide Squad, I actually knew the characters. I'm like, oh, I know who Killer Croc is. I know who Deadshot is. I know who Rick Flag is. I generally know who these characters are. I don't know who Polka Dot Guy and Rat Queen are. I just don't. But in a world where Ninja Turtles and Batman have crossed over before, in my own headcanon, she is the daughter of the Rat King. And that is that. But point is, she is the heart and soul of this movie. She's just a really sweet person. She's very endearing. You're just like, you're so nice. How did you get wrapped up with all of them in all of this? She's a very tragic and lovable character. So a friendly character who befriends rats and a shark with no friends, they worked well together too. And the polka dot, there's a man who shoots polka dots. That's his power. In my headcanon also, he is the same character from The Dark Knight. But how dumb does that sound? Saying it out loud. Dude shoots polka dots. That's his superpower. Like right there, you're like, they're scraping the bottom of the barrel. But it really is advantageous for this movie and the premise. They have a freedom to do whatever they want with these characters. Like, they won't have that freedom with Batman or someone high profile. Also, cherry on top, if you can take an obscure character with a weird power like that and make them awesome and make their power badass, they make the characters indispensable to the team, both personally and with their powers. You know, there's one moment in this movie that stands out to me with Harley Quinn, is that's the fact that she is crazy, you know? Like, Harley Quinn's been an anti-hero for long enough, you know, and she's working with the good guys a lot, and you forget that she's actually insane. There's a scene in here where she does a thing, and I mean, it's not a bad thing. I shed no tears, but the way it was executed, I was like, oh yeah, you're not sane. And she has one of my favorite scenes in the movie, like actually my favorite scene, bar none, in this movie, a scene with Harley Quinn. And she's completely badass. It's like a thing that Birds of Prey tried to do and the Suicide Squad did. Idris Elba's great in the movie. I always say, like, Idris Elba's one of those actors where even if he's in a shit movie, which the Suicide Squad isn't a shit movie, but even when he is in a shit movie, he's still great in the shit movie. He's one of those actors, man, where he's just like, yeah, I mean, I'll crush it on my part. That doesn't mean the movie's good. Also, another standout that's in the first Suicide Squad movie, who's also in this movie, Amanda Waller. Viola Davis as Amanda Waller. Perfect casting. Was then, is now. She's just such a dick, and she's so good at it, I don't know how she does it. It's just, I don't know how people are like that in real life. I don't know how they're that good at it in movies, but she's so good at being Amanda Waller. Also, yeah, the movie's really bloody. It's violent. It's rated R. It uses that, absolutely. It actually uses that with some of the humor, too. I mean, violence and humor is just, we all love it. I mean, if you don't, I don't know. Maybe I'm projecting. I do. I don't know, some stylish violence that reminds me of Mortal Kombat fatalities. That speaks to me. And visual effects in this movie were really good. Surprisingly, shockingly good. I don't know why. I didn't expect that. I didn't expect to look at the shark and be like, this is actually really good lighting on his skin. It's props. And it being written and directed by James Gunn, you know he's going for more of a comedy than the original Suicide Squad was. And yeah, if that's an expectation, that is what the movie is. Like I already said, some of it's tied in with the gore, some of it's just really odd. That is to say, some of it really landed with me, some of it just didn't. I was like, oh, okay, that happened. Doesn't change the fact that there were quite a few moments in this movie that I found hilarious, and they absolutely do outweigh the moments that were just kind of a miss for me. But guys, in the end, the Suicide Squad, great bloody fun. It does away with that vibe that feels like you just snorted a can of Surge energy drink. It gives you more of a bloody, gory comic book action comedy. So what's the rating for the Suicide Squad? I'll give you a hint. No, it's not a good time if you're drunk. This is for me surviving my comment section. To see that paradigm shift of those comments going from, remember this guy gave Suicide Squad a buy it on Blu-ray rating, to, remember this is the guy who gave Suicide Squad and The Suicide Squad the same rating. That is to say, the Suicide Squad is worth watching and worth buying on Blu-ray. Here we go. In my defense, I did try to fix the timeline in my Deadpool 2 spoiler talk video, so couldn't do it. All right, so The Suicide Squad. Have you seen it? What did you think about it? Whatever you thought, comment below. Let me know. And as always, if you like what you've seen here and you want to see more, click right here to see more.